In what promises to be one of the biggest games of the season, the 18th ranked IUP Crimson Hawks take the floor against PSAC West rival Gannon. Crimson Hawks basketball coming your way next on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network.
Take one chance for three. Good! Oh, no, not on blue by Marcel, who got locked away. Gives it off to Kata. The drive from a chance for three. Good, Devontae chance. Chance back to Marcel. Marcel down, Kata up and good.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Crimson Hawks Sports Network pregame show. It's time for coverage of IUP men's basketball. My name is Josh Hill, joined alongside Dan Wallace. And Dan, this is a big game, one of the biggest games of the year for the IUP Crimson Hawks. But before we get into this game, let's look back at what IUP did on the court last time out as they faced the California Vulcans here at the KCAC. A very low-scoring game, 64-56. Sean Dyer leads the way, 22 points and 9 rebounds. Khalil Jabi had a nice game for California as well. But in the end, IUP shooting 7 3-pointers compared to Cal's 4. They out-rebound California 35-26, pick up a big win against the Cal Vulcans. And let's go ahead and take a look now at the PSAC West standings as that game concluded. And here you see it, Dan, it's a big matchup. Gannon and IUP, Gannon at the top, a half-game lead over the IUP Crimson Hawks. And the IUP Crimson Hawks really need this one for PSAC hosting implications and Atlantic region hosting implications as well.
Yeah, absolutely, especially considering the fact that when IUP went up to Gannon at the beginning of the season, Gannon won that game, their 4th straight win over the IUP Crimson Hawks. And don't forget, you have Mercyhurst trailing right on your tail too. Only a couple games back as well. And they still have to go up to Mercyhurst one more time.
Yeah, the schedule certainly not very friendly for the IUP Crimson Hawks, but we'll touch on that a bit later. Let's go ahead and take a look at our impact players here for tonight's game. 4 players who can really change the dynamic. Dan, we focused on the guards here tonight for Gannon, Adam Blazak and Jabron Smith, and for the IUP Crimson Hawks, pretty simple choice, Devontae Chance and Sean Dyer.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had the luxury of watching a couple of these guards for the past few years. Adam Blazak, 14.4 points a game, really the cog that drives that Gannon offense. And Devontae Chance, what else can you say about this kid? We've watched him come in since he was a freshman, since he was a very unpolished freshman when Joe Lombardi brought him in, to absolutely the overall floor general for this team, 14.8 points a game. Without Devontae Chance on the floor, the offense doesn't run right for the Crimson Hawks.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at the PSAC Player of the Year awards, you have to think that Adam Blazak, Devontae Chance, 2 of the mainstays in that conversation for sure. Should be a great matchup watching those 2 go at it here tonight. But let's look at our keys to the game here for this evening's game. It's going to be a big one. A big crowd expected. Dan, pack the KCAC.
Absolutely. Every time we see this building packed and rocking, it always works in favor of the IUP Crimson Hawks. I expect it to be nearly a sellout here tonight at the KCAC. Expect that to play into the Crimson Hawks' favor.
Yeah, and anytime you have a close game, you really need that fan support to kind of give you that extra shot of adrenaline, so to speak, and try to will you to a victory. Magic number. Let's talk about the Gannon Golden Knights whenever they score 80 points. Do you think Gannon can really get an offensive game plan going and put up 80 points? Because they really do well. 101-6 in their past 8 years whenever they put up 80 points on IUP.
Against the IUP Crimson Hawk defense, it's going to be really difficult for Gannon to put up those 80 points. If they do, IUP is going to be in trouble. But on the opposite end, defensively, Gannon is one of the best defensive teams in the country. They very rarely allow teams to get above the 60-point mark. So I expect it to be a low-scoring game. If IUP can keep Gannon around 60 to 70 points, I expect IUP to be able to come away with a victory.
Final key of the night here this evening, the chase is on. Dan, it's amazing how the seasons just come and go really so quickly. The IUP Crimson Hawks, 6 games left, 5 against teams currently in postseason contention. Crimson Hawks really need a big win here tonight, and they have a tough stretch coming up as well.
Yeah, they especially need a win here tonight, considering the fact that their next 2 games, they have to take that long trip up to Erie to take on Mercyhurst and Edinburgh back-to-back Wednesday, Saturday games before coming back, playing a Slippery Rock team that beat them up in Slippery Rock earlier in the season, and then going to Pitt Johnstown and hosting rival Clarion to close out the season before the PSAC tournament.
IUP 19-3, Gannon 15-7, 1-2 in the PSAC standings. Something's got to give tonight. We'll have all the exciting action of IUP men's basketball coming up in just a moment here on your television home for IUP Athletics, the Crimson Hawks Sports Network. We'll be right back.
The brain is a remarkable organ. It's almost infinite in its capacity. Its ability to reach its full potential is limited by only one thing: the heart. For if the heart isn't fully engaged in what you're doing, if you have no drive, no passion, the brain will simply go through the motions. Find your success at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
And with that, we welcome you into the Kowalczyk Convention and Athletic Complex. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a big fight feel here tonight. The IUP Crimson Hawks and the Gannon Golden Knights. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network, streaming live on BacklightTV.com. Josh Hill, joined alongside Dan Wallace. And Dan, this is what we've been waiting for all season long. Many fans circling this game well in advance, knowing the possible implications that could be presented, and that's the case. First place in the PSAC West on the line here tonight.
Absolutely. And not just the fact that you have first place in the PSAC West up for grabs. You look at the stars that are on the court right now. 3 preseason All-PSAC West players for Gannon, 2 for IUP. This is going to be a dogfight tonight.
Here we go. We are underway on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network. Starters for Gannon: Rafael Thomas Edwards, Adam Blazek, John Eves Tupain, Jabron Smith, and Adarius Porter. And they'll kick it out. Here's Smith. He'll pull up for 2. No good. Rebounded by Thomas Edwards. Counted and a foul. Good start for the Gannon Golden Knights early on.
And we talked about this prior to the game, Josh. It's a bit of a contradiction for Gannon. One of the best rebounding teams in the country, but also one of the worst rim protecting teams in the country. It really doesn't make much sense, but you can see already early, the offensive glass is going to play a big factor for Gannon.
Can't complete the three-point play. Rebound to Ubede. IUP will get the ball for the first time tonight. Norfleet driving baseline, will head back and kick it to Sean Dyer. Deep 3 coming, and what a start for Sean Dyer. This place is fired up, Daniel, right now.
And that is the best three-point shooter on the Crimson Hawks team. If you give him that kind of space, it doesn't matter how far behind the line he is. Most likely, it's going down.
3-second violation, IUP basketball, and the adrenaline for these players have to be sky high right now. And it is important for IUP, though, to control the emotions early on. We've seen in the past, sometimes with these big crowds, they want to really put on the show for the fans, and that is something they need to control.
I'm interested to see right now the matchup between Blazek and Chance. Blazek, one of the best defensive players in the conference, one of the leaders in steals. And Devontae Chance, if you can see, has a piece of tape wrapped around his right hand, his shooting hand. He fell on a sheet of ice a couple days ago, had to go get 7 stitches. It's going to be interesting to see how well he's able to shoot the ball and how well he's able to facilitate with that wrap.
Yeah, he got whacked on that hand a couple of times Wednesday night against California as well, and that certainly didn't help out. And that's a travel call, turnover for the Golden Knights. Gannon first in the conference in scoring defense. They only allow 57 points per game. Tremendous defensive team. We get a whistle and a foul call. Sean Dyer will head to the line for the Crimson Hawks. I believe Eves Tupain is the guilty party. Inbound right of the goal for Sean Dyer and the Crimson Hawks. Dyer from the corner, no good. Gannon countering back with Adam Blazek. Gannon returns 4 starters from last year's team. They're very talented. Thomas Edwards inside, can't convert. Dyer soars for the rebound.
Gannon's going to keep going to that matchup, though. They're going to like that matchup all night, especially with if Jeffers ends up on Rafael Thomas Edwards. Look for them to go down into the low block for him, let him back down Jeffers and get a look. He got a good look on that one, just didn't drop.
Long 2 for Jeremy. Jeffers is good. Jeffers with the foot on the line. That's a 2-pointer, but Jeffers has a good outside stroke, especially for a big man.
And we've seen him, as he came in last year as a transfer from Drake, really improve that outside shot. He used to be a guy that used to like slash to the rim a lot, but he's really improved his jump shot, and that's helped him and this Crimson Hawks team tremendously this year.
Porter can't convert, and Rafael Thomas Edwards had the rebound, and he walks with it. And this is going to be a fun one here tonight. You could just feel it.
Gannon already seeing a little bit of trouble with the IUP defense. We saw the other night in the women's game here between Cal and IUP. IUP, what led them to that devastating loss was the amount of turnovers that they had, upwards of 30 for the entire game. And Gannon already not taking care of the basketball very well here early in the game.
The IUP women rebounded nicely at the Hammermill Center here tonight. 5th-ranked team in the country beats Gannon this evening. Gannon with 3 turnovers already. Devontae driving left hand, and he scores. Timeout by the Golden Knights. Devontae, that's what he does. He can facilitate, and he can put the ball on the deck as well.
And he says, I cut my right hand. I got some stitches in my right hand. That's fine. I'll use the scoop shot with the left.
Wonderful. As we have a timeout and this place quiets down a little bit, let's go over some statistics for the Gannon Golden Knights. They average 62.5 points per game. Not very good for Gannon, dead last in the PSAC, but on the opposite side of things, they allow only 57 per game. So they are still 5th in the conference in scoring margin, which is incredible considering they're dead last in the conference in scoring.
Yeah, and we saw the other night, again, when Cal was here, the men's game, a low-scoring affair between one of the best teams in the conference in IUP and one of the teams that has found themselves sliding towards the bottom of the PSAC West in Cal. A very low-scoring affair, a very defensive affair. I expect to see a lot of the same here tonight with 2 of the best defensive teams, not just in the PSAC, but all over the country.
Our impact players for the Gannon Golden Knights, we mentioned within the pregame, Adam Blazek and Jabron Smith as well. Here's Rafael Thomas Edwards getting that one to go over to Trell.
Again, going right back to that low post with Rafael Thomas Edwards. Not as good a matchup for him there. He's got a little bit of size over Cottrell, but Cottrell, the leading shot blocker on his IUP team. 41 block shots on the year for Cottrell. That's better than the entire Gannon roster. Only 33 blocks on the year for the entire Gannon roster. If they keep going inside Thomas Edwards with Cottrell in there, I expect eventually to see a couple of those shots get sent back into the stands.
John T. Riley, the head coach of the Gannon Golden Knights. One of the best programs in the PSAC. Dyer 3-ball coming, no good. And that rebound sails out of bounds. Gannon basketball.
We saw Dyer hit that 3 early, getting a little high on confidence there. Not a great look, that one. He had a hand right in his face. And we've seen him take a couple of those. He's 1 for 3 now from the 3-point line early on.
Dyer coming off of a 22-point performance on Wednesday against the California Falcons. Step back shot is partially blocked. Chance steals it away. And one of the conference's leading Stillman gets another one. Nice dish inside. Dyer lost the handle on the way up, and Blazak gets it back and finds safe haven to Smith.
Absolutely beautiful pass by Chance. Just Dyer couldn't quite handle it.
Running the floor there and scoring is John Aves Tupain. He'll head to the line with a foul shot as well. You see what Gannon's able to do, get up the floor in a hurry.
That's a big early foul. Devontae Chance doesn't get into foul trouble very often, but if you can get him a couple fouls early, if you're Gannon, and get him out of the game, that's key.
All right, it's a media timeout at the KCAC. We'll take a quick break, 7-6. We'll be back right here on IUP TV.
Students in communications media at Indiana University of Pennsylvania can focus on a variety of areas, including media promotions. Our promotions students learn their skills by working in a hands-on environment, gaining real-world experience. They learn how to use media to promote, produce, and manage events, and how media organizations operate. They create promotional campaigns and help clients pitch their services, products, and events. With excellent classes led by experienced teachers, the Communications Media Department at IUP is perfect for students interested in media promotion.
We have a job to do out here today.
To be a winning team, you have to work like a winning team.
My team depends on me.
And my team is 50,000 strong. Looks like a lot of work's going into this.
This is what it feels like to be part of a team.
A winning team.
The action team.
Get in on the action at actionteam.org. Are you in?
Welcome back to the Crimson Hawks Sports Network, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Hill and Dan Wallace joining you here tonight for this big PSAC West matchup. Dan, I am on record as saying this is the biggest game in Pennsylvania today. I know Pitt and Syracuse were going at it. Penn State, Duquesne, Robert Morris were also playing. But when you look at the implications of this game, hard to find a bigger one.
Yeah, and speaking of that Pitt game, Pitt ended up beating Syracuse late, but a big free throw there from Eves Tupain. Eves Tupain, south of a 40% free throw shooter, so good for him to see the ball go through the bucket early.
Deflected by Blazek as Dave Wynn joins us here in the booth. He's going to take a
We need a little supervision.
Going to take a seat beside us and enjoy this one. Norfleet driving left hand, and the floater is no good. Cottrell with the tip. Blazak controls, and Blazak looks to run, and it's stolen away. IUP counters back quickly. Dyer swings it to Chance, who couldn't corral it initially, and that hand may have certainly had something to do with it.
And we saw there a turnover in transition for Gannon. One thing Gannon may not be able to do in this game is run out in transition. IUP, one of the quickest teams in the PSAC and one of the best transition defense teams in the nation.
Hanner working inside. Tough sledding in there for Tevin Hanner, and he'll pick up a foul call. And on the other side of things, IUP, one of the funnest teams to watch out in transition. They use that speed and athleticism for their own good on the offensive side of things as well.
Yeah, we see a lot of guys, big guys in the PSAC that aren't great at running the floor. But when you look at the big guys that IUP has, from Ubede, Cottrell, and even if you get as far down the roster late in the game as Lemke, who's 6'10", all of those guys can run the floor with great speed. They can keep up with the guards. They use those long legs to get up and down the court quickly, and it's extremely fun to watch.
All very agile. The IUP Crimson Hawks have kind of transitioned into this new era of Division II college basketball. Not very often do teams like to work it inside to the big bruisers anymore. It's a run and gun style of game, transition, three-point balls, and IUP has adapted for sure. Hanner makes the second of two.
70% on the year for Tevin Hanner from the line.
Hanner rose his average a couple of ticks after a good performance at the foul line on Wednesday against California as well. In for Gannon is Matthew Dogan. Dogan number 15 for the Golden Knights.
Not just that free throw percentage that Hanner raised, but he also raised that points per game average too, as we saw him have himself a couple nights ago against Seton Hill when they were in town.
Rafael Thomas Edwards back. And IUP has issues with Gannon big men, especially last year. I don't know if you remember this game. I'm sure you were calling it down at the media table when Ruggiero Livramento just absolutely went off on the IUP Crimson Hawks. He was a relative unknown and just had one of the games of his life.
Yeah, we talked about this prior to the game too, the fact that when we went to the PSAC tournament out at East Stroudsburg last year, Livramento didn't really do anything when we watched the two games that Gannon played. When we look back at the statistics, he didn't really do much before he came to IUP, and he didn't really do much after he left IUP, but just one of those, everybody's entitled to one of those games that he just chose to have it here in Indiana.
Came off the bench and absolutely lit IUP up. Manny Yard into the basketball game. Norfleet will take a seat. He did pick up a foul call there on the offensive end. So Gannon gets it back. Crimson Hawks delivering a full court press. Blazek working on Yard. Bounces one over. Left side three ball coming, no good. Battle for the loose ball is controlled, and another shot coming, and that is good for Jabron Smith. That is Jabron Smith from the foul line.
Great hustle by Jabron Smith, but when you look at that little sequence there was a lot of contact, and that might give you a little bit of a barometer as to what the refs are going to let go in this game. And it's in a game like this, a game that's for first place in the conference, it's nice to see the refs let not a lot of contact, but a good bit of contact go. That sometimes you get into these chippy foul calls, but you don't want to see calls like that, as we just see here in a game like this.
And you have to think that might kind of be the barometer that the officials will set for postseason play as well, because these two teams are going to need to get used to how these officials are going to call it later on in the season. They need to know how that's going to work and influence their game based on that for sure. So a foul call underneath, and IUP inbounds to Yard. Approaching the 13-minute mark in the first half of play here this evening. Chance inside, floater's good. Devontae Chance working on the big men. The 5'11 senior gets it to go.
Generously 5'11, we'll say that, and it's amazing to see how he can slash the basket and get points in the paint for his size, going up against guys that are 6-7 inches taller than he is, and be able to get that floater to drop a gorgeous shot.
Chance, IUP's leading scorer at 14.8 per game, and he plays nearly every minute of the game as well. There's a shot that's no good. Battle for the rebound is controlled by Chance. He's looking to run as Dogan and Hanner come back from behind the plate. Dyer with a blocking call there on Smith.
And that's a very good call by the official. You saw Smith tried to slide his feet, get in a position to take the charge just about a half a second too late as Dyer drew the contact.
Rafael Thomas Edwards leads all scorers so far here early on, 6 points for the big guy. And Yard drives, foul call. And they'll get Thomas Edwards for that one.
We're not even halfway through the first half here, Josh, not even to our second media timeout. And we see Gannon already with 5 team fouls. That could play a factor as we come down to the later moments here in this first half.
Thomas Edwards transferring in from the University of Buffalo prior to the 2013-14 season. He's been a welcome addition to this Gannon team as Ubede scores with the left hand.
And a great entry pass there as well to get the ball to Ubede. Got great position on the block, and with his deep down on the low block as Ubede got, there's nothing you can do defensively other than take a foul if you're Gannon.
Inside, working as Porter. Porter shot fake and gets the tough shot to go. He was absolutely swarmed by IUP defenders, but good strength inside. Chance and Blazek, as we said, that is the matchup of the game here tonight. Certainly the one we'll keep our eye on.
I believe we're going to foul away from the ball. We're going to call an illegal screen, I believe.
And they'll get Manny Yard for that. And we will step out here with our under 12 timeout. Gannon leads by 1. We'll be back with more IUP basketball.
It's hard to explain. It just became home. There are hundreds of majors and programs, bachelor's degrees to PhDs, small classes and faculty that really get to know you. Amazing internships and everywhere, programs that help to find a job that is right for you. It's what IUP is about, a commitment to your success. See it for yourself. Visit us, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Find your success.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful
Welcome back into the Crimson Hawk Sports Network. As teams get back on the floor, we'll take a look here at the PSAC West standings. Gannon on top, IUP at number 2, and Dan, PSAC West standings important, but the date is looming. February 18th, the first date that the NCAA Atlantic Region rankings come out, and IUP certainly figures to be in that conversation for sure.
Yeah, right now when you look at the D2 SIDA regional rankings, no surprise West Liberty sits on top. The slight surprise to me is the fact that IUP currently sits at 3rd behind Glenville State. There's a beautiful charge taken there by Daddy Ubede. Glenville State sits ahead of IUP right now, but they sit at 16-4. IUP's 18-3, and they're also in West Liberty's conference. So something's going to have to give there. Not both of those teams can win their tournament, so that's going to force one of them to drop at least. And IUP currently tied for 3rd with Bowie State out of the CIAA. And Gannon right now is currently tied in that ranking as well at 8th place, a little shocking, with Mercyhurst.
Yeah, and you think these games coming up for IUP going to loom large for the Crimson Hawks playing Gannon here tonight. They still have Mercyhurst this year, like we said in the pregame. 6 games left for IUP, 5 against teams that currently are in postseason contention. So the Crimson Hawks can pad their resume with some big wins here. There's a deep 2 as the shot clock expires, and it's a shot clock violation for IUP. Great defense by Gannon. That's their MO, and they execute their plan to perfection there.
Absolutely. There's a couple guys on this IUP team that you don't want to let take an outside shot, but with the trouble that Gannon has protecting the rim, you might see them a couple times here try to pack the defense in a little bit and keep a little extra defense around guys like Ubede, guys like Cottrell, Jeffers when they try to get to the basket. And that's going to leave a couple of the outside shots open, but we have another turnover for Gannon.
Turnover number 6 on the night for the Golden Knights with that travel call. Thomas Edward, Blazek, Smith, Dogan, and Austin on the floor right now for the Golden Knights. Rich Austin out of Cleveland, Ohio.
And there's one of those guys you don't want to let take that outside shot. Just couldn't get that one to drop.
Ubede working hard inside, puts the shot up and gets it to go. Boy, these guys are battling down on the inside, Thomas Edwards and Ubede.
Unbelievable persistence by Ubede. Just had all the will in the world to make sure he got that ball into the hoop. Fantastic defense by Gannon once again.
Blazek drives baseline and with a nice pass inside, and here's Austin guarded, and that's a travel call. That good defense by IUP, straight up, right in the face, is giving Gannon some issues right now.
We just saw John T. Riley on the screen there. Riley, one of the most animated coaches that you will see, not just in the PSAC, but across all of college basketball, Division I or Division II. So he's always an interesting guy to watch.
It's kind of hard not to just watch him at times. And there's an offensive foul on Ubede, and these teams are coming to play on the defensive end tonight. This is going to be a low-scoring affair, I feel.
And a little jawing now between Rafael Thomas Edwards and Daddy Ubede, too, but the right call on that one. Rafael Thomas Edwards didn't exactly have his feet set, but you could see Ubede clearly just took that shoulder, lowered it straight into the chest, right straight into the chest of Rafael Thomas Edwards. And every time an official sees that, they're going to call it.
And they'll get a hand check there on Brandon Norfleet, put his hands on Blazek, trying to keep him in front. And Adam Blazek, not an easy player to defend. Second foul already on Norfleet here, just under the halfway mark of this first half.
And a very decorated player for the Gannon Golden Knights. He came in last year as a junior. As a junior, he hit the 1,000-point career mark, so a very, very decorated athlete for Gannon Athletics.
As if on cue, he hits the shot off the glass there, and that 1,000 point came against IUP here last year at the Kowalczyk Center.
Oh, great backdoor cut by Norfleet and a great find by Sean Dyer.
Here we go, IUP. Teams beginning to settle in here this evening. The feeling out process, I feel, is probably about over. There's Rich Austin driving baseline and scoring with the left hand. Rich Austin guarded by Jeffers there and beat him.
And a great move by Austin as well. He got Jeffers to commit to go for the steal, spun right around him, had himself a wide open layup.
Gannon picked first in the PSAC Western Division preseason poll. Jeffers, 3-ball coming, no good.
Not a great look there, Jeffers, either with the face-up three. He had a couple other options that he could have gone to.
Blazek works it inside, and we'll get a push on Jeremy. And that'll be Jeremy's second as well.
Both teams getting into a little bit of foul trouble now. First half gets a little deeper here. 17 fouls now for the Crimson Hawks. That's going to put Gannon in the bonus.
So IUP will replace their bigs as Cottrell and Hanner come off the bench with Jeffers and Ubede.
One of the better free throw shooters on this team is Rich Austin. 80% on the year. That's third on the team behind Jabron Smith and Adam Blazek.
Of course, Adam Blazek's name would be up there. He is just the do-it-all guy for the Gannon Golden Knights. And he's really up on the top of the list in steals in school history as well. The guy can just do everything for Gannon, one of the best players in the entire conference. Gannon up by 3 here. It's been back and forth. IUP spaces the floor well. Stop and start dribble by Norfleet. Can't convert on the floater, and the rebound to Gannon. Thomas Edwards inside. Rich Austin going to work. Floater is good, and the length of Rich Austin helped him out there.
Yeah, right now Gannon's having their way a little bit inside with the Crimson Hawk defense. And It's interesting to see that they're going straight after Devon Cottrell right now with Rich Austin, even though they're well aware of the fact that he's the leading shot blocker in the PSAC.
That's kind of been the theme for teams that have had success against IUP. They work the ball inside. They won the rebounding battle as well. And we have our under 8 media timeout, ladies and gentlemen. Crimson Hawks and Gannon playing a good one so far. We'll be back right here on IUP TV.
We know you want family-friendly sporting events.
Sporting events where you can be comfortable
and entertained in a positive environment. Watching great individuals and teams compete.
With commitment, effort, and good sportsmanship. That's what the Division II Game Environment Initiative is about.
Be a part of the excitement and find out why. These student athletes say with pride,
I chose
Division II.
Ever since I can remember, I have loved theater and I have loved acting. I also have a passion for working with kids with special needs. Indiana University of Pennsylvania helped make both of my dreams come true. I'm Trisha Ray Stahl. I'm a 1998 graduate of IUP, and I'm a working actress. I have a recurring role on Fox Television's Glee, and I also work with kids with special needs. IUP, find your success.
Welcome back into the Crimson Hawks Sports Network. There you see Gannon. They've won the battle inside. They've won the offensive rebounding battle. They won the rebounding battle in general, and they're working it inside and putting in that work here tonight.
Yeah, we were talking about it during our break. Teams that have had success against IUP are the teams that have won the battle for second chance points and the battle on the glass. And right now, Gannon 11-4 in the rebounding total over the Crimson Hawks and 5-1 on the offensive glass. And if you, most of the time, no matter what team you are, if you win the battle on the offensive glass, a lot of the time you win the ball game.
That's what it's all about. The IUP Crimson Hawks will have to heat up from the outside as well. Chance rises up for the jump shot, no good. And it's Gannon basketball.
And not a great look there by Devontae Chance. He tried to take a contested shot over guys that were a couple inches taller than him. Usually it's not much of a factor for Chance. He can usually hit a shot from anywhere on the floor, but we saw that time it's the length of Gannon affected that shot.
Devontae does a great job too of being able to elevate himself to find that angle on the jump shot. That's kind of one of his classic signature moves that he does. And Gannon works it inside once again, and that's a travel call. Gannon has turned the ball over 8 times here tonight.
And now 7 of those are travels.
Yeah, exactly. So Rubete comes back for the IUP Crimson Hawks, and you can feel the excitement around this game, Dan. As we get closer to March, the games just grow larger and larger. The excitement builds from the fans, and the coup de grace here tonight.
Absolutely. You get, as an IUP Crimson Hawk fan or student, you get this one and you get Slippery Rock, and those are the 2 big ones that you look forward to this year.
Daddy off the bench going to work and scoring with the left. So, Dan, we spotlight the guards as our impact players. Don't know if that was the best idea, the way this one has started here this evening.
And that typically happens with us as well. Whatever we say, it's typically the opposite.
And I don't know if that's really a coincidence.
No.
And foul there on Gannon. Sean Dyer will inbound it right in front of this ruckus student section here this evening. Tony Boykin comes in for the Gannon Golden Knights, and Dogan takes a seat. Darius Porter will check in at the next stoppage as well. He sits at the media table. Near side to Hanna. Foul line, shot for Norfleet is short, and an offensive rebound for the IUP. Rubete going to work on Thomas Edwards, double team. Rubete gets it back and swings it out to Chance. Chance, left side to Norfleet. Screen coming from Tevin. Brandon works inside, floater with the right hand is no good, and the rebound is controlled by the Golden Knights.
Had a couple chances there to Brandon Norfleet. He decided to take a floater. He loves that floater just as Devontae Chance does, but he had Tevin Hanna rolling off that screen back to the basket. If he looks to him, he's got a wide open layup.
That's 2 for Jabron Smith the other way as well for Gannon. They're now up 23 to 18. Working it to Hanner. Delonte, nice crossover and out. Norfleet 3 ball coming, no good. And Coach John T. Riley a little upset with a push there. It goes out of bounds, and Gannon will get it back as Manny Yard and Darius Porter come back in. Gannon will also run on Daniel Kegler.
Norfleet taking a seat now. He's struggling a little bit from the field right now. 3 consecutive shots for the Crimson Hawks from Norfleet. 3 straight misses, and that was a beautiful look by Chance to find him. The beautiful no-look pass. Looked off Sean Dyer, found Norfleet wide open in the corner.
Absolutely. Brandon Norfleet a bit streaky. If he hits his first one of the night, that's very good for IUP, but it could take a little while to get going if he doesn't, as you mentioned.
Yeah, the former PSAC Freshman of the Year as Dyer gets a steal.
Dyer all alone, and with the left hand is good. Sean Dyer, fast break points for IUP. They're going to need to capitalize on that.
And back to Norfleet for a second, the former PSAC Freshman of the Year. He's one of those guys that if he does get hot, watch out, because he will light a gym up. He's one of those guys that if he wants to can put up 25 a night.
And there's a missed shot and a rebound by Sean. Crimson Hawks look to run again. Chance ahead. Manny Yard on the left side. Yard driving into the paint. Yard surveying his option. Corner J is no good. Blazek countering back. The pace begins to quicken here as Blazek counters back. Left side and back around.
And no surprise on the other end, Dyer coming down with that rebound. He leads the Crimson Hawks. Even though he's a guard, he leads them in rebounds at 5.6 a game.
Hanner steals it away and takes off the other way. Tevin all the way, and traffic is good! What a basket by Tevin Hanner, and he's amped up here this evening.
And we've seen that even since he's come in as a transfer this year, the improvement of his game on the defensive end. He's a guy that I like to say can jump out of the gym when he wants to, and he has greatly helped the transition offense of IUP because he can also run the floor with the best of them.
Maybe the best pure athlete on this IUP Crimson Hawks team. Inside, that's stolen away. Crimson Hawks on a bit of a run here. Dyer ahead, and he's going to get called for a foul. Blazek took a charge, maybe? I don't know.
They called it out of bounds, but Lombardi wants a foul, and that did look like a foul to me on Blazek, on Dyer, but Lombardi is absolutely livid. Look at that. You get a little bit of a hand on the ball, it looks like Blazek did, but it looked like there was a lot more contact with Dyer than there was with the ball.
So we'll step out for 30 here. It's Gannon 23, IUP 22. Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. This is a good one.
Can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, no thanks, not my thing.
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
We have so much to celebrate in Division II, but we're especially proud of our commitment to Make-A-Wish.
Division II student athletes have led a 10-year initiative to raise funds and help grant wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions.
Nearly $3 million have been raised, and hundreds of children's wishes have been granted.
We play hard, we work hard, and we support others in need. Why? It's simple.
Because we care.
Welcome back into the Crimson Hawks Sports Network, and Dan, take a look at this.
And it was a beautiful move by Hanner to split the two defenders, but he may have got away with a little bit of a travel there. It looked like 3 steps to me from Tevin Hanner, but nonetheless, great job by Hanner to get the steal and run the floor.
And you have to award the effort nonetheless for Tevin, and they counted it as 2. Tevin splitting the double team. So Crimson Hawks back to that full court press. They forced 13 Gannon turnovers here in this first half of play on Pack the KCAC night, and I believe the fans have done a nice job in completing that task.
Yeah, one of the biggest crowds we've seen, and an offensive foul. Great job by Sean Dyer to get himself set. A little bit of a forearm push-off there by Jabron Smith is going to get the foul call. And it, again, John T. Riley, he's not afraid to let you know how he feels if you're an official.
Coach Riley, somebody that is constantly on the officials, as is Coach Lombardi. I think it's a theme. And these guys care about this team about as much as the players do, and it's really, you could see it, they really let it show, and that's a good thing for both of these teams. They've been very successful, and I think the coaching has a lot to do with it.
And they are 2 of the best, not just in the PSAC, but 2 of the best coaches in all of Division II college basketball.
Blazak pulls up for three. No good.
A lot of arm fighting.
They're going to get a foul on the floor there. Manny Yard and Porter were battling underneath.
Unlucky. That's usually going to go against the defense, but that foul call can go either way. Both guys grabbing each other's arms, trying to get position, but Manny Yard unlucky to come out on the bad end of that one.
I have to say I agree with that. If I was the official, I probably would have done the same thing as Yard kind of had the arms on it.
Yeah, that's got to stop. That didn't even catch the rim.
A little bit off there for Porter. 23-22. First half is almost over, Dan. This game is just flying by.
Take a look down in the corner there too, Josh. We have the guys from the '94 team back in town tonight.
Yeah, we will be bringing you a presentation at halftime honoring that 1994 team. We also have a video for you coming up at halftime, so no time to tune out tonight. You are going to want to sit tight from start to finish. Chance with a nice crossover. It goes right side to Sean. Dyer had the ball knifed away, and there's a loose ball battle, and it's going to be Gannon's. Coach John T. Riley wanted a travel call. He's a little bit animated right now, but he won't get it.
And actually, the Crimson Hawks got a timeout was the call.
Okay.
30-second timeout from Lombardi, because I was confused there. When the official started pointing down towards Gannon's direction, IUP clearly has the possession arrow, so I was confused what he was calling, but Dyer somehow was able to get that 30-second timeout.
And that's why you have the color analyst with you to help you out in situations like that. Won't be the first mistake of the night, that's for darn sure. So timeout for the Crimson Hawks. It was of the 30-second variety. We'll keep it here. And these two teams battling in the highest tier. Let's take a look at some stats, Dan. For Gannon, leading the way is Rafael Thomas Edwards with 6, and Rich Austin with 6 as well. Thomas Edwards has been relatively quiet the past couple of minutes. He started the game with a couple of baskets for IUP. Daddy Ubede has 6, so the bigs contributing most on the score sheet so far in terms of points anyway.
And you look at the scoring distribution for both teams. No surprise either way. Gannon, your 5 guys that get a majority of the minutes between the 5 starters are the guys that have your points. For IUP, very spread out, very even. 6 is the high with Daddy Ubede.
Norfleet drive, that typical floater at the buzzer, no good. And there's a battle. And that's going to be Gannon's basketball, or yes, it will. Okay.
That's a good call. Good job by the officials too to get together there and make sure they were both on the same page.
Yeah, that little get together made me hesitate for just a moment, but they do correctly call it. Officials tonight: Jeff Wagner, Dave Shatire, and Bill Puner. Gannon has it as we approach the 2-minute mark of the first half of play. Dogan will shoot the 3 and miss it. Rebound, control, and back around. Blazek has it with fresh shot clock to work, and they'll reset in the forecourt and call a play.
And again, that advantage for Gannon on the offensive glass is going to show big here. Getting a second chance here going down low.
There's Thomas Edwards off the glass, no good. Cottrell with the rebound. Nice ball handling there by Devontae, and a nice dish inside. Norfleet blocking foul, and taking that foul there was Marcus Jones coming in. He is a redshirt freshman from Brantford, Ontario.
And this is the reason why Devontae Chance is so deceptive. He's unbelievably quick with the ball in his hand, takes the ball around his back, and then completely looks off Sean Dyer, gets the defense to commit one way, and finds Brandon Norfleet with the no-look pass. Fantastic facilitating by Devontae Chance.
See Brandon Norfleet soaring up there. Taking the block there was Marcus Jones, rather, getting his first action of the evening. Tevin Hanner returns for IUP.
And a rare miss from the free throw line for Norfleet there. The best free throw shooter on this team coming into the game at 91%.
Both teams have been awesome on the defensive end, to say the least. Gannon shooting 47%, IUP shooting 38%. Those are pretty solid percentages, but that doesn't really tell the story of how these teams have battled on the defensive side.
And this game is exactly where we expected it to be. 1.5 minutes left in the first half, all knotted up.
Earlier tonight, the IUP women picked up a 74-53 victory over the Gannon Golden Knights, a decisive win, and that's an offensive foul.
An interesting call there, too. An interesting call made by the official. Darius Porter looked like he had the position to back down Cottrell. It looked like Cottrell tripped. And whenever Cottrell tripped, he kind of tripped Porter with him. But somehow IUP gets bailed out, and Cottrell draws the offensive foul on Darius Porter. I'm not exactly sure that was the right one. A little bit just the feet getting tangled up between the two players. And no, a little bit of a flop actually there by Cottrell going down, and he just kind of tripped Darius Porter. So IUP and Devon Cottrell getting bailed out on that one.
15th turnover of the first half for Gannon. So when you look at it, you would think going into the game, if Gannon would turn the ball over 15 times in the first half, the score would probably be in IUP's favor. That's a credit to Gannon, how good they truly are. We're sitting here tied at 23 as we approach halftime. And
give them credit where credit is due to. They have been a lot more efficient on the offensive end than IUP has been so far tonight.
47% on the game for Gannon. Floater with the left hand is good by Sean Dyer, and that's one of his go-tos. These guys really have a knack for controlling the ball and hitting shots in traffic.
And that's the difference between the IUP guards with a lot of guards around the country. All three between Norfleet, Dyer, and Chance, as we get a steal by Yard, can get themselves into the paint and hit those little running jumpers like that.
Yard ranged to the far side and hit the ball off the baseline, so turnover number 7 on the night for IUP. Manny Yard lost control of the ball a little bit there, just tried to get it back, but by the time he did, ran out of real estate.
Yeah, a little bit out of control for Manny Yard, and sometimes that happens, especially Yard, still only a junior, I believe Manny Yard is now, and a lot of room to grow for him still. Expect him to see a lot of playing time next year with this team. And another turnover, a carry now for Gannon.
Turnover 16, Manny Yard, only a redshirt sophomore as well, redshirting that year.
Redshirt sophomore, that's right.
So
2 more years to grow for Manny Yard. He's going to see a lot of time coming up in these next 2 years.
Setting the scene here with the shot clock turned off, 29.9 to go in the first half. So IUP can hold for the last shot if they so choose. They are also in the double bonus, so any foul will send them to the line for 2.
And don't be surprised here if IUP goes 1 of 2 ways to look to get an isolation look for Devontae Chance, or to get a good look from the outside from Sean Dyer coming off a screen.
Crimson Hawks trying to space this floor. Everybody moving without the basketball. Down to 5.
There's the screen from Cottrell. Didn't take it though.
Blazak almost forced it away, but IUP will have it. 2.6 to go. And there's a litany of things that the IUP Crimson Hawks can try to accomplish here with 2.6.
I might look to throw the ball straight to the rim to Hannah.
And they'll try to go out. Chance has a step. 3 ball coming at the buzzer is no good. What a look for the IUP Crimson Hawks. And we are heading to halftime. IUP up by 2. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a battle here tonight. Crimson Hawks basketball returns. After this, we will have a special presentation of the 94-95 team and also a video to show you highlighting their success. So don't go away. Crimson Hawks Sports Network halftime report is coming your way very soon.
I did everything right. I went to college, graduated with honors, but I'm just not getting to where I want to be. I need to get to the next level. What am I missing? Where are these people going? What do they have that I don't? How do I get that edge, that hands-on experience that will put me ahead of the competition? Graduate school at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
The 1993-94 IUP basketball season was the most successful ever. PSAC Western Division champs, NCAA East Regional champs, a trip to the Elite Eight, a 24-game winning streak, and 27 wins. But then 1994-95 came along, and Coach Kurt Kanaski's team was even better. IUP won the PSAC championship, the first time in 21 years. They repeated as NCAA East Regional champs, broke last year's school record with 28 wins while losing only once, and a return to the Elite Eight. The words team and unselfish describe IUP best. 5 players average in double figures. The leading scorer, junior Derek Freeman, is one of the greatest athletes to ever play for IUP. He recently became only the second player to score 1,000 points in just 2 years. Senior Yancey Taylor, a 3-time all-conference player, is 9th on the all-time scoring list and recently moved into the 2nd spot all-time in assists. He leads the team in assists this year. In the middle, junior center 6'7" Bert Masenko is the 2nd leading scorer and 2nd in rebounding. Broke the 1,000-point barrier this year and worked to become even stronger this season. Junior sharpshooter Jason Bullock, just 27 points from 1,000, knocks down the tray at 48%. The final piece of the puzzle, junior 6'4" point guard Kirk Williams, a transfer from the University of Colorado, athletic on offense, relentless on defense. The bench, senior Russell Kelly, a slashing-type offensive player, a hustler on D. Josh Shoup, tenacious and tough. Troy Jackson, an outstanding defensive performer. Ben Williams, strong, a player with senior savvy. Freshman Chuck Carl, strong inside player with outstanding potential. These 10 players are challenged every day by T. O'Shea, Mike Taylor, Mark Foe, Jeff Woodland, and Kelly Athey. Yes, it all adds up to team. Dating back to the last 4 games of the 92-93 season, IUP has an unbelievable 59-4 record. But for this team, #1 in the nation since December 20th, the job has not been completed. A national championship remains the objective.
This team finished the regular season ranked #1 in the nation. Together they set a school record with 29 wins and just 2 losses. In addition to being the PSAC Western Division champions, they also won the PSAC tournament and the NCAA Division II East Regional Championships. They traveled to the Elite 8 for the 2nd consecutive year, and 8 of their players finished the year with a 3.0 grade point average or better. Individuals on the team earned honors such as Player of the Year, East Region Co-MVP, PSAC Tournament MVP, First Team ECAC, East Region First Team PSAC, ECAC Second Team, East Region Second Team, PSAC West First and Second Teams. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a warm welcome as we introduce them. First from the coaching staff, let's welcome back Kevin Reynolds. And now let's meet the players. Kelly Athey, Jason Bullock, Mark Foe, Bert Masenko, Josh Shoup, Mike Taylor, Kirk Williams, Jeff Woodland. At the time, our sports information director was Larry Judge. And our student managers, Pat Doherty and Keith Moyer. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for this 1994-95 team.
Success. We see it every day. Hundreds of majors and programs, bachelor's degrees to PhDs, small classes, internationally known faculty who are committed to your success. Real-world experiences to guide you on your career and life path. An alumni network 120,000 strong. I'm IUP President Mike Driscoll. Visit us. Find your success at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Highlights, and Dan, it was back and forth.
Yeah, that was an early 3. The first bucket of the game hit for IUP by Sean Dyer from deep outside the 3-point line.
Then Devontae Chance finds Jeremy Jeffers with a long 2, and Jeffers had a couple of long 2s here in the first half.
And we talked about with him, that was the great improvement in his game. And it's that beautiful little left-handed scoop shot. Devontae Chance says, I can't use my right hand very well, let me use the left instead.
And then the inside game was important. Rafael Thomas Edwards there for the Gannon Golden Knights working on Cottrell.
And interesting going straight at Devon Cottrell, and a great move that time there by Tupane to get himself to the bucket and draw a foul on Devontae Chance.
Thomas Edwards back ahead. Here's another IUP highlight. Brandon Norfleet working inside, and that's step back Jay. That's one of his signatures.
Interesting there, you got a foul call on that one too. I didn't see much of a foul call there. But then again, Jabron Smith, what he does best, just get that little bit of separation, knock down the wide open jumper.
And then it's Sean Dyer going to work here. Dyer finds chance at another floater for the IUP Crimson Hawks. There's the halftime highlights. It is 25-23. Dan, as IUP inbounds it, how about we go over some halftime statistics?
For Gannon, leading the way right now with points is Rafael Thomas Edwards with 6, Rich Austin with 6 for the Crimson Hawks. Dyer has 7, Ubede has 6, and on top of that, Devontae Chance with 4. Those are the leading point scorers. Also, Jabron Smith coming in to this game. 15 points is his average, only 4 in the first half.
You saw the presentation for the 94-95 team. Hope you enjoyed that. One of the best teams in IUP history. This team here today aspires to be like them because they had quite a run, I'm sure of it. Jeffers on the near side, swings it, good pass. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Norfleet, Jeffers steps into a 3-ball, bang! Jeremy Jeffers.
And we just talked about how much he has improved that part of his game. You cannot let Jeremy Jeffers have that much space, way too much time for the big man to get his feet set and knock down that wide open 3.
Adam Blazek controls. Back out, 3-ball up, and a 3-ball missed, but a rebound. And inside is Thomas Edwards, missing the bunny. It was a great pass to Thomas Edwards by Eves to Payne. Smith, or Thomas Edwards rather, couldn't finish.
And that's where Devontae Chance's height works against him. Most guys, when Jabron Smith goes up for that rebound, that's an easy over-the-back call for the officials.
Not in that case.
Because of the Chance's size,
yeah.
Jabron Smith can reach right over top and pull down the offensive rebound.
Devontae certainly holds his own out there, though. Thomas Edwards going to work, double team, and kicks it near side and back out. 3-ball coming up and down for Jabron Smith. And the senior from the Bahamas is on the board with a tray ball.
And way too much time for Jabron Smith. He's the leading scorer on this team, but him and Blazak are 2 of the best shooters in the PSAC. You can't let either one of them have that much time or space.
Smith now with a game-high 7. Sean Dyer will pull up straight away. 3 is good, and when Sean Dyer heats up, you better play him a little bit tighter than that.
And that was a challenge to Tupane. He said, you're gonna give me that much space? All right, face up 3, here we go.
That's the strategy I use in pickup basketball, but more often than not, it doesn't work for me. But I see what he's doing. There's a 3-ball from the corner and missing it. Chance rebounds. Chance thought about pushing, but will deliberately cross half court instead.
Great elevation by Chance on that. To go and get that board away from a couple of the bigger guys on Gannon's team. Just was able to use his leaping ability to elevate over the top of the long reach of those Gannon players.
Spoken like a true radio professional there. Norfleet spins and scores, but that step back Jay, Brandon Norfleet, it seems like every game he has a couple of shots just like that.
And he has a move that he uses every time when he uses that step back to get himself separation. He kicks his leg out to get himself a little bit of space from the defender, and that leaves him a wide open jumper.
And a great save there, and Thomas Edwards converts. You got to give credit there to a Darius Porter putting his body on the line there, saving it from going out of bounds.
Got a little bit shaken up, got up a little bit slow. I don't know if it was more out of pain or frustration. It looked like he had a little bit of a disgusted look on his face when he got up.
Jeffers on the near side, back out to Norfleet. Norfleet will reset as we approach 10 seconds on the shot clock. Double team, and Norfleet has to kick it to Chance with 5. Chance crossover in the lane, had it stolen away.
And that play all stems from the fact that Brandon Norfleet, they gave him the left hand. He didn't want to use it. Tried to force him to go right. He did. Had nowhere to go.
Jabron Smith heats up, and he's now in with 9 points. He's hit the past couple of baskets for Gannon. So we're at 33-30. Low-scoring affair, much like we have anticipated. Gannon's still shooting 46%, and IUP still shooting 45%. So these teams still working efficiently on offense, but some good defense as well. And IUP, Chance, 3-ball coming, splash! Devontae Chance from downtown.
Ripped up hand or not, that's way too much time to allow Devontae Chance to get himself set.
There's a back out 3-ball up is no good. Rebounded underneath, and a foul call as John Eves Tupane.
And they're going to get Chance on that foul, I believe. Must have caught the arm, knocked it down a little bit, because I didn't see much contact there on that one. Nonetheless, that's number 2 on Devontae Chance.
Media timeout at the Kowalczyk Center. Crimson Hawks up by 6. We'll be back right here on IUP TV. Welcome back.
The environment is my passion. Every day, I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at gocoastguard.com.
And now we're back here on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network, 3630 IUP on top of the Gannon Golden Knights. And Dan, this game, much like we thought it would be going in, highly competitive, back and forth. Teams really laying it all out on the line.
I think it's finally safe to say that Gannon's not going to hit that 80-plus point mark that they like to get to.
Yeah. Didn't know how realistic that was coming in, but that's very interesting to consider how good they are when they reach that 80-point plateau. And one thing that was interesting listening to Coach Lombardi's post-game press conference, he said coming into this one, you could tell that both of these teams, as Gannon beat Edinburgh, they had a hard time with Edinburgh. Both teams had a difficult time Wednesday night. You could tell they were kind of looking ahead to this one. Coach Lombardi saying, hey, you don't just get handed big games. You have to go out and perform, and you make big games. Both these teams have performed and made this the game that it is.
And absolutely, it's the old cliche to say, as Dyer takes a step-back 3, it's the old cliche to say never look past an opponent, but it's hard not to when you have a clash of this proportions in the PSAC West.
So Gannon controls. Here's Thomas Edwards back out. Blazek's been quiet, only 2 points for Adam here today. He tries to add to that. That's a blocking call on Daddy.
And that's interesting there. The two officials kind of stared each other down for a second there, trying to decide which one was going to make the call. I think the official here on the near side was about to call a charge, but he gave way to the official on the baseline, calling it a block. I didn't really see if Bubede had his feet moving there, but that's one of the disadvantages that big guy sometimes gets when a smaller guard comes in and the big guy's trying to take a charge. They usually give it to the guard.
And from an official standpoint, it could have been all about who had that better angle as well.
Yeah.
Making a call there. Adam Blazek at the free throw line.
It's one of those situations, though, where when somebody goes down like that, whether it's a charge or a block, there's got to be a foul call made of some sort. It's just a matter of which one you're going to get.
Blazek converts. Lead is down to 4 for IUP. Chance works left side. Brandon Norfleet swings it to Devontae. Devontae looking for somewhere to go, goes to Yard. Manning driving. And we'll head back to Brandon. Norfleet going to work. Kicks it out. Jeffers' 3-ball coming is no good.
And a fantastic look from Jeremy Jeffers there. He had all the time in the world. And sometimes as a shooter, it can be too much time, which looks like it was the situation there.
And there's a nice layup ahead for John Eves Tupane. Tupane has 6, and it's a stoppage.
We're going to get an official's timeout here for something.
Not exactly sure what that was. Oh, a substitution timeout, I believe. We'll see. Nonetheless, we're back to it. And one disadvantage of being up here, as you learn, you really don't know what's going on.
Sometimes when you're down at that media table, down where the radio guys all sit, you can at least hear what's going on between the officials.
Chance, 3 ball coming is no good.
Not a great look there from Chance either. He had Blazak right in his face.
Blazak counters ahead. In the lane, Blazak left hand can't convert. Good strong rebound, and it's stolen away.
That was a great job though by Devontae Chance. He altered that shot before Blazak even went up. He got a hand on the ball.
And that's a 3-pointer for Devontae Chance. Devontae stepping into that 3 and drilling it. There's a shot that is good by Johnny Tupane. And Tupane now with 8 points.
You said coming into this game you had a feeling that Tupane was going to have himself a night. Well, he sits right up there with Smith and Thomas Edwards as the leading scorers for this Gannon Knights team. Only 8 points, so nobody in double figures yet for Gannon.
Devontae a bit frustrated there. I believe he wants his teammates to maybe move a little bit. Very demonstrative there on the near side.
We talk about John T. Riley being animated. It gets interesting. You can see Devontae Chance get just as animated when he's out there on the floor. But it's all out of being a good leader for Devontae Chance. It's nothing bad ever said to his teammates. It's all motivation to make them be better.
Norfleet has to put up a shot at the buzzer. No good.
Bad possession there for IUP. Nobody really was moving, and that's what Chance was upset about. Didn't get a good look.
Seems like IUP just wasn't really aware of what's going on. There's transition for the Crimson Hawks. Back out. Jeremy, 3 ball coming. Bang! Jeremy Jeffers. Transition for the Crimson Hawks. And Jeremy Jeffers runs the floor. Timeout. Gannon.
Let's see if we're going to have a 30-second timeout. And look at this, way too much space for Jeremy Jeffers. We've been talking all night about the improved part of his game being his outside shooting. He's turned himself into one of the best outside shooters on this IUP team to go along with Devontae Chance and Grant and Sean Dyer. Way too much time, way too much space. That ball's going down every time from Jeffers.
Take a look at the student section. They are amped up. We're going to keep it here as this timeout is called, and while we do that, let's take a look at what the IUP women were able to do. 74-53 victory. Another double-double by Lindsay Stamp, and the team really cruised. 25 points, 13 rebounds for Lindsay, and IUP putting a bit of distance, improving to 19-2 overall, 15-2 in the conference, second in the PSAC.
Yeah, with that loss to Cal, they've kind of put themselves in the position where they have an identical record with California now. If they want to have a hope of hosting the PSAC tournament, they've got to keep winning ball games. It's a huge win for them over a very good Gannon team. One of the best women's college basketball programs in all of Division II college basketball, Gannon women's program. A huge win for them. They got to keep moving on here now. I believe next up they have Mercyhurst and then a strong Edinboro team, the women do. And those are 2 more games that the women need to win. They need to hope for a loss, though, for California if they want to have any chance of, well, actually, the women's tournament's out east, so it won't even matter, but the women are in the major running to host the Atlantic region.
That's the main thing for the women. Yes, Morgan Neighbors, the only Gannon player to finish in double figures for the Golden Knights on the women's side of things. Back to the men's side of things, the Gannon Golden Knights, after this game here on the 7th, will travel to Clarion on the 11th to take on the Golden Eagles. And for the IUP men, the Crimson Hawks will battle the Mercyhurst Lakers on the 11th. That's a 7:30 tip-off at Mercyhurst as well.
We talk about it, though. That's traps big time for IUP. When you have to travel that long distance twice in 1 week, go up to Erie, they had to do it last year. They had to go up to Mercyhurst, and then second game, they had to go to a very difficult Gannon team. Well, guess what? They dropped that Gannon game. Watch for it to be a very interesting matchup between Edinboro, a team that's come on a little bit here on the men's side.
Yeah.
And could it potentially end up being a trap game for IUP having to go up to Erie twice in 1 week?
It happened to IUP last year. That's a swat, an absolute rejection from Tevin Hanner. Chance working ahead, Chance all the way, and he will head to the line with a blocking call.
Tevin Hanner was so far on top of that block that he managed to block that ball before it even left the hands of Darius Ford.
Take a look at this one. Oh, and that is right at the end of the rejection. Tevin Hanner absolutely sending it into next week.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Wow.
Tevin Hanner's not the biggest man in the world, but he uses his leaping ability to make himself twice as big as he really is.
Devontae at the line is good. Now Devontae in with 11 points, leads all scorers here tonight. Still have to note, Adam Blazek, very quiet, 3 points for Gannon's leader. Crimson Hawks have expanded this to an 8-point game, 44-36.
Back into the full court press now too for IUP.
There's a quick jump shot, and that's no good with a foul call.
Called on Ubede.
And Ubede did. You could see from here perfectly Ubede coming in, pushing Thomas Edwards.
Gannon's been doing a great job, though. IUP loves to run that 1-2-2 full court press, try to trap the offensive players in the backcourt before they get it across half court. And if you can break that trap quickly, you usually have an easy look at the bucket.
We'll get another foul call. And they'll get Sean for this one. Ubede picked up his second foul, and Sean picked up his first. So Gannon has around under 12 minutes to play in this one. Inside to Thomas Edwards and back out, rising up for that jump shot is no good. Ubede with a battle, and he gets it back. And Ubede finds guard, goes to Dyer back to Chance. Devontae, step back, jump shot, no good. It was just a bit off from the start.
Two bad looks both sides of the court. Jabron Smith really took a look that didn't really have much space, and Chance did the same thing as we see Ubede go to the floor, no call though.
It's almost like a hip check there by Rafael Thomas Edwards, and Hanner comes in and denies Thomas Edwards again. You gotta be kidding me.
I was talking about his length. The unbelievable thing that Tevin Hanner possesses to is his recovery speed. Watch this rejection. He comes from the complete opposite side of the floor. You have Manny Yar standing right there. Hanner comes from nowhere out of the picture. The opposite side of the court. Great recovery speed by Tevin Hanner and great assistance on the defensive end.
And with that, we will step out for a quick timeout here. More IUP basketball rolling on when we get back. It's 44-36. Don't go away.
Success. We see it every day. Hundreds of majors and programs, bachelor's degrees to PhDs, small classes, internationally known faculty who are committed to your success. Real-world experiences to guide you on your career and life path. An alumni network 120,000 strong. I'm IUP President Mike Driscoll. Visit us. Find your success at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
To compete for a championship in stadiums full with cheering fans and families, to give back, to say thank you for your support, to learn, grow, and prepare for the future. Ask any NCAA student athlete what they want, and this is what they'll tell you. Ask these student athletes, and they'll say with pride, I chose Division II.
Welcome back to the Crimson Hawks Sports Network. 44-36 is your score. Josh Hill, Dan Wallace, David Lind in the booth here this evening. Great to be on the air here, this men's only game as the women traveled to Gannon. And that happened earlier this year. The women were home where the men were away. So,
tell you what, we're talking about the great things that these players are doing down on the floor. We got to commemorate Dave Lind up here, you know, keeping us from getting a little too rowdy up here. It could happen.
There's two for Adarius Porter. So Adarius picks up his first two of the evening. That pass is a bit out of the outstretched hands of Ubede.
Right idea, though. Great roll to the basket. If that ball finds Ubede, he's got an easy slam.
So Thomas Edwards will take a seat as Rich Austin returns. Blazek has it far side. He's guarded by Devontae. Blazek gets by and kicks left side. Working inside is Austin, back around. Here's Porter. Porter on Ubede. Porter, shot fake inside, and that is an offensive foul.
And what the official's going to call there, Porter got his arms up. He got an elbow straight into the chops of Daddy Ubede, and as soon as you see that elbow, and they're talking about it right now, they may end up calling this a flagrant one. They're going to discuss it. No, they're just going to call it a common foul, but take a look at this one here. As soon as Darius Porter gets his arms up above, boom, right into the chops of Daddy Ubede. As soon as you get that elbow up high, up near the head, ball's automatically going the other way. And Darius Porter got lucky to get away without a flagrant on that one.
Looked like with that motion, he kind of got hit twice. Certainly unintentional. It wasn't meant.
No, that would have been a flagrant one. If they did decide to go with a flagrant, it would have been a flagrant one over a flagrant two. And flagrant one is a shot to the head, no malicious intent. Flagrant two, intent has to be obvious.
Yeah, and if you're Daddy Ubede, you're saying an elbow's an elbow, and I just got knocked in the chops here.
He's going to take a little seat there as they're going to take a look at his teeth, make sure he's got all his little chiclets in there.
Three ball coming, Devontae, no good. Back ahead, here comes Gannon. Countering quickly, that ball was stolen away, and Sean Dyer counters back. Dyer roaming ahead, Dyer out, and it's stolen. Great back check, that's a hockey term, by Gannon.
But a bad decision there by Dyer. That's one of those, you fake it that way and you take the ball up yourself. They had too many defenders on that side for him to pass it away.
And there he is, John Eves to Payne. That's 12. Or check that, 11 now for John.
And look at that, your guy you said coming into this game to keep an eye on leads Gannon in scoring now. And 1 point shy of Devontae Chance for the overall lead in the game.
Now under the 10-minute mark of the second half. Joining us, thank you so much for joining us, rather, on our telecast. Look at that dish. Jeffers for three, no good. Norfolk with a great rebound, and back out. Jeremy driving baseline, swings it to Tevin. It's stolen away by Blazek.
Great job, though, by Brandon Norfolk to come flying through the lane there to pull down that board. Nobody boxed him out.
And take a look at this. John Eves to Payne. Going to work on the IUP Crimson Hawks. Make it 14 now for the junior.
Another one of those foreign products that we see that come to the PSAC a lot. John Eves to Payne out of Dakar, Senegal. Dyer now.
And Sean Dyer counters back, three ball. And they're starting, the guards here are starting to play a bigger role. In the first half, it was the bigs, and then we said, watch the guard play. The guards are starting to put on a show here.
Dyer and Tupane guarding each other. Tupane hits one, Dyer says, whatever you can do, I can do better.
And here's a three ball coming. That's no good, rebounded by Chance. Chance has Dyer ahead. Dyer, it's knocked away with a foul call on Adam Blazek.
And that's a rough foul call there for Blazek to take. It looked as though he may have got mostly ball on that one, knocking it away from Dyer. Dyer went up a little lackadaisical there. If he takes that ball up hard into the body of Blazek, that's an obvious foul. He got bailed out a little bit, taking the ball up a little too easy to the rim.
That slight hesitation for Dyer may have cost him there, but when you look at John Eves to Payne transferring from Division I, St. Bonaventure, of course, IUP, knows all about transfers from St. Bonaventure last year. Jesse Bosnick. And
yeah, those Bonnies had themselves a matchup today with VCU coming away at the buzzer.
Yes, they did. No doubt about it. Back into the basketball game is Marcus Jones. Daddy Ubede back in for IUP. Taking a look at this all-time series. Gannon has won the last 4, and they lead the all-time series 20-19. One of the most competitive series in the PSAC. Gannon looking to complete their second straight season sweep of IUP, winning both matchups last year, winning the matchup as well on December 6th. That was a 61-56 overtime victory for the Golden Knights. Now under the 8-minute mark here in our telecast here this evening. IUP 49, Gannon 44. There's a shot missed, rebounded by Ubede. Ubede,
he's got to be careful with those elbows now. It's an interesting rule, the flagrant rule is, because a lot of the time it's a little bit uncontrollable by the player. You're just really trying to protect the ball and protect yourself, but whenever you swing those arms through, they're just trying to protect those players watching those shots to the head.
And you see that a lot more at the Division I level. Those players they do that rainbow with the ball, and they get those elbows up. They're just trying to make sure it doesn't get stolen. So,
and they've found an epidemic too of people trying to do a little bit of acting when people swing those arms through and taking some flops. And good job by the officials though to be able to discern between those, what's real and what's not.
Norfleet had the ball stolen away. And that pass is stolen away again. Interception by Brandon Norfleet. He turned the ball over and got it back for IUP.
Those cross-court skip passes do not work against the Crimson Hawks. There's too much speed and too much length across the paint to throw those passes straight across the key.
And there's a pass that's tipped out of bounds. IUP will get it back, and we will take a break here on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network at the 6:50 mark. IUP 49, Gannon 44. We'll be right back.
'Cause nothing ever gonna make this world better if we don't start believing that love really, really, really is the answer. Everybody join hands 'cause it's time now. Spread the love all over the world. Spread it all over the world.
The brain is a remarkable organ. It's almost infinite in its capacity. Its ability to reach its full potential is limited by only one thing: the heart. For if the heart isn't fully engaged in what you're doing, if you have no drive, no passion, the brain will simply go through the motions. Find your success at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Welcome back into the Crimson Hawks Sports Network. Josh Hill, Dan Wallace. And Dan, this game has been everything we've hoped for. 3 ties tonight, 9 lead changes in this one, and the Crimson Hawks are currently out in front by 5.
And IUP is in no position to get into the mode to just kind of sit back and, we got a 5-point lead. We can just keep matching buckets with them. No, this is a Gannon team that can go on a run and do some damage in a hurry. Great move by Dak Ubede.
Ubede draws the contact, steps back and hits the jump shot. And these big men, you can tell how hard they work in practice. That is hours and hours of work as Blazak gets fouled. I think we're going to pick Sean up with his second.
Touchdown coming into the hands of Blazak. I'm not really sure what it was there.
For Adam Blazak, 3 points, but he's added 6 assists and 4 rebounds on the defensive end. So despite his lack of offensive production in terms of scoring, he's still finding a way to have an impact in this game, and he's been out on the court most of the time.
Interesting, now it's Porter on Hanner.
And Porter works and can't convert. Look at Sean soar for that one.
Leading rebounder on the team at 5.6 a game. There's the reason why. He comes flying through the lane and uses his elevation to be able to get atop those big guys in the paint.
And you said earlier, it really seems like Sean Dyer is really comfortable. He's been here all year, and he's finally finding that niche, and he's going to become one of the mainstays down the stretch. Nice move. Chance kicks out. Norfleet floater from the baseline, just a bit short. Hanner working for that rebound. It's a tie-up. Gannon will get it on the loose ball.
And Sean Dyer coming as a transfer over from West Liberty. Everybody knows about how West Liberty likes to play, how they play that game. We got Norfleet down on the floor, it looks like.
Norfleet face down. Rob Barron going to head out and take a look at Brandon.
I believe he took in that whole melee there. Look, I think it was even, no, he's holding his ankle. I thought he was holding his face. It looked like he took a kick to the face a little bit from his own teammate, Hanner, but he's holding his ankle now.
Brandon left the game Wednesday against California, smacked into the meat of the table and injured his knee. And while that loose ball was going on, I think Norfleet was already on the court.
That's why I thought it looked like he went down. When he went down, I thought it was after he went down that he took a little shot to the face from Hanner. But it looks like he may have went down because he did something to that ankle. It looks like the right ankle, I believe, that's causing him some discomfort.
with Brandon Norfleet still down, let's step out for 30 and come back with the rest of this one. IUP basketball will be back in just a moment. Brandon Norfleet on the court getting looked at as we speak.
Thank you, dear, very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel so spring has sprung. And every time I see you,
You're not fooling anybody, you know. Think young. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Welcome back into the Crimson Hawk Sports Network. We'd like to thank our student crew for their assistance here tonight. Tough situation, didn't know the extent of that, and as that commercial was playing, Dan, Brandon Norfleet leaving the game, you had saw no pressure put on that right knee, ankle area.
So I'm the last person to consider myself any sort of doctor, but with the way it looked as though he was not able to put any sort of pressure on that right foot, I'd say it's pretty safe to say it looks like he probably will not return in this ball game.
There's a steal, and IUP is going to need Manny Yard to really step up. He's the next man in line. You could also see the first appearance of Steph Osborne. He's somebody who can light it up from downtown, but has been criticized a little bit for his defensive effort. The pure definition of a sharpshooter.
Yeah, Steph Osborne, still a very young kid coming over from Australia, a redshirt freshman this year, but he's a kid that it doesn't matter where he's standing on the floor. You can criticize his defensive side of his game, but it doesn't matter. If he's on the other side of the half-court line, don't give him space. He's going to knock it down. I stood in the KCAC one day for about 10 minutes and watched him knock down shots from beyond the arc for 10 straight minutes, didn't miss a shot.
Chance ahead, back out. Manny driving baseline, plows over, man, that's an offensive foul. And look at Coach Lombardi in the background.
And I see Lombardi's frustration there. The only thing, we're at a bad angle to see if Manny Yard kind of extended that forearm a little bit to give a little bit of a push off. Other than that, it did not look like the feet were set there.
Look at the capacity crowd here tonight. Not too happy.
Here we go, Manny Yard. That's a tough one. I didn't really see much extension from the forearm of Yard. But, I mean, give Jabron Smith credit, I guess, to get into position to be able to take that charge.
Over 2,500 people here this evening to watch this one. The free ball coming is up and down, and who else but Jabron Smith. Smith now in double figures with 12.
One of those 4 returning starters from last year that Gannon has brought back to really energize this program, and a great job Jabron Smith has done all year long, being a leader and a leading scorer for this ball club along with Blazak.
Gannon has cut it to a 4-point edge. Chance drives baseline and is fouled there by John Eves Payne.
And he may do that better than any player in the PSAC. He does a great job of, regardless of what position he's in, being able to lean into the defender and take that contact, draw fouls that a lot of the time a ref would overlook if it weren't for the fact that he's able to put his body straight into the defender.
So that's 3 fouls on Payne. And there's Devontae missing ahead, but an offensive rebound by Hanner. Hanner going to work, and he's fouled. Tevin Hanner, relentless, tenacious, whatever you want to call it. He's working hard inside.
Fantastic determination by Tevin Hanner, and there was once again just being able to elevate over the top of the defender to pull down that offensive rebound.
Taking a look at the foul situation for the Gannon Golden Knights. Eves Payne with 3, Jabron Smith with 3, and Darius Porter also has 3.
Part of his game that if you ask Tevin Hanner, he'd say he'd still like to improve a little bit on 70% free for a shooter on the year. But if you ask him, he's one of those guys that he puts in the work, and I'm sure he will tell you that that is not good enough for him 70% as he gets to second.
Crimson Hawks back to that full court press, and that's a go-to in the second half especially. And they force a turnover off of it.
And it was the length of Hanner that forced that bad pass by Jabron Smith.
Hanner all the way, scores! Much to the delight of this crowd. Timeout on the floor. Crimson Hawks are rolling. We'll step out. IUP basketball continues right after this.
Think of the NCAA as a marching band. We wouldn't stop with halftime. We'd be full-time.
celebrating student athletes in everything they do. Okay, so don't think of us as a marching band. Think of us as a spirit squad. Well, just know we're always there for student athletes.
All your professors, all of them, they know that all it takes is one dreamer with passion, one person, and they hope in each of you that you might be that one who makes a longer-lasting light bulb, who writes music for the ages, who reaches into the mind and discovers a new star, and who can change the world of a fifth grader. We're gathered here to hope in you.
Welcome back to the Crimson Hawk Sports Network. And Dan, they did not send that to a media timeout, so I believe next stoppage we will get the media timeout, and we could just keep it here since we got our commercials in. Gannon trying to combat this IUP full court press, and they come ahead. Here's Blazek, three ball coming to the southpaw, no good. Devontae gets the rebound, and Tevin Hanner ignited this crowd with that take in transition.
Yeah, Hanner's one of those guys that's always got a chip on his shoulder, overlooked coming out of high school. McLennan Community College down there in Baltimore. He wasn't given much of a shake, come to IUP, and has been an absolute spark plug for this program.
That's a great way to describe him, and Tevin is in with 6 on the night. 6 points for Tevin.
He's one of those guys that does all these small things well, all the small things that push a team over the top.
Step back, crossover chance for 3 off the front iron. Good hustle by Ubede to save it to Tevin. Tevin again. He's going to go to the line. Count it and the foul. Are you serious right now? Oh, my word.
And on cue, Tevin Hanner. Unbelievable. Takes the massive contact there from Blazek. A great foul from Blazek, but that's one of those fouls. If you're going to make the contact, you got to make sure the guy doesn't make the shot. Great body control by Tevin Hanner. Goes up, gets the lay-in.
That has got to be one of the plays of the year for Tevin Hanner, and we're going to keep it here with this media timeout. About a minute until they head back out onto the court. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight, and our student crew, Director Najee Poles, everyone behind the scenes as well, helping us out. Dan, Tevin Hanner, we mentioned it, he has been the ultimate spark plug for IUP. He's come up with a couple of big plays that have really swung this in IUP's favor.
Yeah, and he's a guy that has, over the past few games, really come into his own in Joe Lombardi's system and started to pad his stats. 6.5 points per game now. And as we mentioned, he's starting to get in on the rebounding act as well for the Crimson Hawk. He now has 3.3 rebounds a game, but he's a guy that doesn't see much time. And because of the fact that he doesn't see much time, he comes out and he is energized every time he's on the floor. He goes at 100% every single time he's out there. He only averages, let's find it here, he only averages about 16 minutes a game, so he has all the energy in the world, only getting 16 minutes to give it as much as he can every time he's out there.
And with Brandon Norfleet still on the training table, the IUP Crimson Hawks are going to need another scorer. So Tevin Hanner could certainly be the guy that does that. He's going to go to the line. And that was one of the hardest fouls I've seen a player convert a basket on. He got absolutely drilled. You know, if you're Gannon and you're going to foul, you want to do it so that the player doesn't score. And I think, I don't recall who actually fouled Tevin there. But
it was Blazek.
It was Blazek, and he fouled him hard enough, but Tevin with that relentlessness.
And that's one of those fouls. If Blazek does not get the contact there on Tevin Hanner, Blazek may have saved this place from exploding, because if he does not get that foul, Hanner's throwing that ball down with authority, and the roof is coming off this building.
Yeah, might have had to get the crew out here to repair the basket, because there might have been some structural damage because he was in alone, and you could see it coming.
He had very bad intentions.
Yes, absolutely. So back to it here, and the lead is up to 10. Crimson Hawks working that full court press, having some success with it. Porter underneath. There's a lay-in for Rich Austin.
There's the downside of that full court trap that Lombardi likes to run. If you break it quickly, you have an easy layup on the other end.
They were just a few moments away from forcing a 10 seconds call, but they weren't able to get it. And as you said, an easy look on the other end. Devontae brings it through. Jump shot is good. Devontae Chance.
It has ice water in his veins. An absolute face-up shot right in the face of the defender, a shot that only guys like Devontae Chance can hit.
Driving baseline, Sean's going to pick up his 3rd foul on that one, and that'll be the 7th team foul for the IUP Crimson Hawks. Ubede set to check in, and at the line for the Gannon Golden Knights is number 25, Jabron Smith, 82% on the year.
One of the better free throw shooters on this team, only sits behind Adam Blazak at 85.
15 points per game for Jabron. And he's in currently with 12. You can keep it at 12 as he misses the 1-and-1. So IUP back to it here. We're approaching the 2-minute mark in this game, and the Crimson Hawks have a double-digit lead. Devontae all the way, lays it in. Devontae working through traffic and converting. This guy is special.
He has an unbelievable ability to make himself small, to be able to sneak through between those defenders, and a great steal by Manny Yard now on the pass.
Forced by Devontae Chance, who swept the ball away, and Crimson Hawks beginning to feel it here as we approach the 1:30 mark of the second half. Devontae controls near side to Sean. He's guarded by Adam Blazak. Blazak only with 3 points here this evening. 3 on the shot clock. Sean all the way, can't convert, and that is going Gannon's direction.
There was a hit off of Tevin Hanner's knee, and a great job there by the official to be able to spot that as Hanner came swiping through with that ball. It did catch his knee last. Great call to give the ball to Gannon.
Brandon Norfleet, just a quick update with a shoe off, some tape, and some ice on that right ankle.
He's done. He's done for the night.
So we'll have to get an update for Brandon when we can. Here's Blazak, 3-ball coming in, good. Adam Blazak, quick timeout by the Gannon Golden Knights.
Too much space for the 1,000-point scorer.
Just a 30-second timeout as you take a look at Devontae Chance.
Great job slashing to the basket. Great job to make himself small, to be able to slither between the defenders and find himself with a nice little scoop shot with the left.
And Dan, you look at some of the biggest rivals for the IUP Crimson Hawks. You certainly put Gannon up there on the list, but the next time we are coming to you on the air here on the Crimson Hawks Sports Network, February 18th. It's a men's basketball clash between the IUP Crimson Hawks and Slippery Rock.
And some revenge on the mind of the Crimson Hawks, as whenever they went up to Slippery Rock, they lost a heartbreaker. But if they don't lose that ball game, they're sitting tied right now, probably in the region with, at first, with West Liberty, with both teams having 2 losses, a loss that is looming large over the head of the Crimson Hawks right now when you look at it from a regional ranking perspective.
Yes, and that night you look, you see West Liberty loses, you think, oh boy, this could be IUP's chance, and then unable to come away. So that loss stung just a little bit extra there. Shaquille Pratt had himself a day, 26 points, 15 rebounds for Shaquille. So that is the next time we are on the air. The Crimson Hawks have 2 games before that, Mercyhurst and Edinburgh, as you said, that Erie trip, but some housekeeping business. Next time we're on the air, February 18th. And that's a nice play by Gannon, and a lead pass with a foul called. Devontae held up Gannon's number 24, John Eves Tupain, and he was heading to the basket, and that prevented a surefire too. He'll have to earn it at the line now.
And not a great pass by Devontae Chance on the other end, but that was all started by, you saw the difference in the effort between Manny Yard and I believe it was number 23, Rich Austin. He was on the floor after the ball. Manny Yard put his hands up saying, I'm letting this ball go out of bounds. We get the ball. But the effort by Rich Austin, diving on the floor, throwing it back into play, that's what led to that easy layup, if it's not for the foul by Devontae Chance.
Referee's going to wipe a little sweat off the floor, and that's what's causing the delay here. And if you're Manny Yard, that's probably the smart thing to do. Just say, okay, we're gonna live to play another day. But then you said the effort by Austin coming in, putting it on the line. Gannon really needs to knock down these foul shots, and anytime they're at the line, they need to hit these foul shots. A 9-point game with only 51 seconds to go, so they're going to have to try to shorten this game as best they can. Devontae wants the students to make some noise. Payne, good on the first.
And these are big free throws. He's been big from the free throw line all year long. Payne only about a 38% free throw shooter from the line on the year. Not too many opportunities he had.
True.
But still, 38% nonetheless. And he's now only missed one free throw on the night. And we'll keep it at that.
Norfleet on crutches as he heads back to the IUP bench talking to the trainers. So
you got to start thinking about what sort of implications that may have for IUP down the road.
Devontae handling the ball magnificently to Manny. Manny's got to get it across, and he does. Blazek guarding, and they'll get a quick foul call there. 41 seconds to go. And if you're the IUP Crimson Hawks, it's all about bearing down, focusing in, and making your foul shots.
And some of the best hands of the PSAC Adam Blazek has, but he got a little too anxious there, reaching in, went to swipe at the ball, just missed, caught Manny Yard, and he's gone to the line. Manny Yard, a guy that doesn't get to the line too often, but when he is there, 80% on the year.
And he makes the first. (62-54). Manny trying to expand it, and he can't do it.
Now 21 of 27 on the year is Yard from the line.
Not bad at all. Blazek three ball is short, and it's saved, and it's IUP basketball.
Adam Blazek, a senior, a guy that's been with Gannon forever, a guy that is a 1,000-point scorer for Gannon by the time his junior year comes around. And I have no idea what he was thinking taking that shot in that situation. He was way behind the line, did not have his feet set. A terribly ill-advised shot from Adam Blazek.
Down to 20, and Gannon's going to continue to fight here. 62-54, but time running out on the Golden Knights.
One of the last guys you want to put at the free throw line is stepping his way there right now. Devontae Chance, 81.2% on the year.
And who else would you rather have it be? Devontae is tied for a game-high 16 points with Payne. So Devontae looks to be the leading scorer in this game, and that's probably an honor he deserves. He's been tremendous tonight. He's certainly gotten the better of Blazek. Chance hits the first. And IUP looks to go up 10 on this one. Devontae, it's good. Ice water in the veins, as you mentioned.
And once again, Devontae Chance, 40 minutes of action tonight, has not seen any time on the bench.
Just amazing what he's able to do, night in and night out. That'll go Gannon's direction with 8 seconds to go.
Not much you can do with 8 seconds when you have yourself a 4+ possession game.
But Dan, quite a game to come back here. Some big implications. On the headset once again. Blazek will pull up for 3, no good. Down to 2.1.
And that's going to do it. Gannon can call off the dogs, throw in the white towel. 2.1 seconds left. This one's going to do it, as you can hear it from the crowd now.
The fans rise to their feet for an IUP victory. 64-54 is your final. IUP is not swept by the Gannon Golden Knights, and they move into first place in the PSAC. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here tonight. For Josh Hill, Dan Wallace, David Lynn, Director Najee Bowles, and everybody on our crew, we will see you back here for Slippery Rock on the 18th. Good night, everybody, from the Kowalczyk Center.